That's a look at the Anne Murray tribute at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, where legendary country singers gathered to honor Canada's sweetheart.
And with a career that is spanning more than 40 years, Anne joining us today to chat about her brand new album, Here You Are. And it is an honor to have you with us on the morning show here in Canada. Thanks so much for this.
Thank you. Nice to be with you.
All right, we know this past summer you celebrated a big birthday, and what a gift. Your latest album, here it is right here, Here You Are, is the #1 country album in Canada. Congratulations. How does that feel?
Go figure. It feels great, but it's a shock, a bit of a shock, but I'm getting over it.
Well, and it's not a shock to any of us. It really is a testament to how much Canada loves Anne Murray. You and Canada have become synonymous. In fact, you have always maintained a home here. What does Canada mean to Anne Murray?
Well, it's hard to explain in just a couple of words. It's always been, as far as I'm concerned, it's always been my place to go after work, and most of my work was in the U.S., so I had Canada as my kind of go-to place, and it's where I felt comfortable. And
I have to tell you, a few years ago, I was lucky enough to see Bonnie Raitt in concert in Toronto. And mid-show, I don't know if you remember this, but Bonnie recognized you, yes, sitting in the crowd, and the place just erupted. There was so much love for Anne Murray there. I was wondering, do you have any memorable encounters with your Canadian fans over the years? Because there is so much love for you here.
Well, I mean, I can't be specific, but that particular moment was amazing for me because not only did she recognize me in the audience, but she also dedicated a song to me. And I don't think that there's any bigger Bonnie Raitt fan than I am. I think she's the greatest. So that was quite a moment for me. But I could go on and on about all the different wonderful experiences I've had on the road, and you know, it's a long career. It was 40 years of, and I still hear from people all the time. I mean, I'm constantly hearing from people. They write to me, and some of the stories are incredibly moving. It's a wonderful thing.
And speaking of that career, I mean, it's in this. We are talking 11 songs recorded between 1978 and 1995. What was it like to revisit these songs? Because I imagine for an artist, it must be kind of like looking back at an old photo album.
Well, actually, it was quite a surprise because all of this started about 5 years ago. This was a fan who first saw me in Las Vegas when he was 15. And he tracked these songs down. He knew that somewhere there had to be things in the vault. And all of my archival material went to the University of Toronto. And there they had these little cassettes that I had taken home from recording sessions. And he figured he could hear them. He went to Toronto and he listened to these things, and he said, well, there must be masters somewhere. Somebody must have masters. And so he tracked the masters down at the University of Calgary, and that's where it all started. This guy was relentless in his search for these songs. And he came up with, and there were 40-some songs. And so I went through them finally after people were saying, will you just listen? Because I figured if they didn't make it the first time, why would they make it this time? Well, guess what? I was wrong. and I listened. There were some great songs on this album. And so no, it's a really good album. And so here you are.
Yeah. Well, as we mentioned, #1 #1,
Yep.
this album is now. One of the songs is a cover of Bryan Adams' hit, Straight from the Heart. You recorded that back in '84. It features your daughter, Dawn. We want to ask you, how is Dawn? And could you tell us about the memorable moment the two of you had, I guess a few years ago? You were shopping and a Danny song come on, like on the overhead PA system?
Oh, yeah. Well, we were in Florida, and we were shopping at Macy's, I think it was Macy's, and we heard Kenny Loggins come on the intercom singing Danny's song, and we were on our way to the washroom. So we went into the washroom. We were each in a different stall, and we were singing the two parts, above and below him. And the woman in the next stall, all of a sudden we could hear, "Wow." and all we could do was laugh, because Dawn and I sing at the drop of a hat, and so there we were in the washroom, and the wow.
Well, I understand the acoustics are pretty good in there, Ann.
Yeah, they were very good.
Little do you know, you have Anne Murray right beside you singing away.
Right? Instead of flushing, I hope she applauded. Okay. And as I'm sure fans from coast to coast to coast know, you were the first Canadian woman to reach #1 on the Billboard charts. You won 4 Grammy Awards. You paved the way for the likes of Katie Lang, Celine Dion, Shania Twain, amongst others. Did you kind of feel like you were a trailblazer at that time?
Oh, no. I was just flying by the seat of my pants. I just wanted to sing. And so I did whatever it took to achieve that. And I worked hard and often. And I kind of got on a roll, and I just went with it. It was just one of those things that happened. And it was weird, because I came from the Maritimes, where they said, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, you do fine here, but when you get to Toronto, it's going to be a whole different thing, whole different ball game." And I got to Toronto, and the press, was a love affair with the press. They loved me, and I'm going, what? These people are supposed to be mean and say terrible things about people. Well, they didn't do that about me, and I was really grateful.
Wasn't Elvis one of your biggest fans?
Yeah, he was actually, and there's actually a little display in Memphis, in Graceland, of some of the things he was listening to of mine, and at one stage, I think somewhere he's written, "Get in touch with Anne Murray about something." I don't know. I never met him, but I did stay in his suite in Las Vegas once. I stayed in his suite, and bullet holes and all. Apparently, there were bullet holes in the elevator. Of course, so many stories, you didn't know what to believe, but it was quite the suite, I'll tell you, on top of the Hilton Hotel. It was not me, but I stayed there anyway.
And you're also the first Canadian woman to earn a gold record for one of your signature tunes, Snowbird, which has left us wondering, are you actually responsible for the term Snowbird?
Well, do you know what? I don't know when that all started. I've tried to look that up, but I have a feeling that it happened long before me, but I'm not sure of that. I know Gene McClellan, another Canadian, a fine songwriter, that's what he called the snow bunting, was actually a snowbird. That's what he knew as a snowbird, and he wrote the song about it. It was just a fleeting thing, but then, of course, there was the fleet of planes, military planes, that are called snowbirds. But that happened after I had a hit with Snowbird. So
right.
I don't know which came first, but I think it came before my song.
Okay. Well, listen, you have sold, how about this, over 55 million albums over a glorious 40-year career. So many hits. I mean, You Needed Me, Danny's Song, Could I Have This Dance? Songs that are so special to your fans. But looking back, just wondering, is there one song in particular that is special to Anne-Marie?
Well, I mean, I didn't sing songs unless I liked them or unless they touched me in some way. But I don't know, there was something about You Needed Me that really got to me, and I had to fight for it because I had, the Capitol Records was about to release another record as a single, and I actually made a trip to Los Angeles, to the tower, the Capitol Tower in Los Angeles, and begged the president of Capitol Records to go with You Needed Me. And he just stopped the presses and did it. It surprised the hell out of me because I didn't know that anyone was going to listen to me, but I had to go for it. And that made the song really special. But when we recorded it, to a person in the studio, we knew that that was a hit record.
I think that's my favorite Anne-Marie.
Yeah. Oh, it's up there. It's hard to pick.
I know, but that one.
Yeah.
There's so much connected to that one. Okay, your fame also crosses over generations. In fact, you memorably guest starred on an episode of Family Guy. Tell us about that experience.
Oh, it was great fun. I was in the studio in Toronto, and they were in the studio in New York. And we just read the script. We just went back and forth, did the script, and they did all the, they later did all the pictures. And but apparently, Seth MacFarlane, I mean, that's his show. His father loved my music. And he used to play my music on the way to the dump, apparently. and they go on trips to the dump and play my music. So that particular show kind of revitalized my career. It introduced me to a whole other generation of listeners, and was very interesting. There was a huge spike at that time in my career after that show. Yeah.
And just before we let you go, we have to mention you are joining us from the Grand Ole Opry, of all places.
Yes.
There's an all-star tribute, well-deserved, obviously, in your honor. What does it mean? What does it feel like to be recognized in this way?
Well, it came as a big surprise to me. I don't know. I guess I don't expect much of anything because I retired 17 years ago, but I'm honored. I'm very honored that all of these performers would take time out to do this, to pay tribute, and I don't know. I'm honored.
Well, it is beyond deserved. I mean, you are a national treasure, and it is an honor for us to have you with us here on the morning show today. Thank you, Anne.
Well, thank you very much.